What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 65 of the Yamcast. The Yamcast is already applying for its senior citizen discounts, getting in line at its local Safeway, and smells like fish now, which is so sad. Today, we are talking news about Royal Enfield. They've got a pretty cool adventure planned. We're going to be chatting about that. But we've also have a new Honda that we've been teasing since Yamcast, like episode 4 or 5, when we saw the patent first come out, and now it's a little sad. And then we have news from the GP side of things. We're talking about Fabio Quartararo's championship title that he won last weekend. Stick around. Today's going to be a good one. Let's dive in with the news.
Alrighty. Our first piece of news, and let me make sure that this is showing the screen for the folks at home, is Royal Enfield is doing some stuff to mark their 120th year in production. One of them was they were making some fancy colorways for their motorcycles. And this other one, which is actually cool, is they're going to the South Pole on modified Himalayans, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Talk about taking the wrong tool for the right job, you know, like holy crap. I think this will now be like how we always turn and say like, oh, Poltaris did Romaniacs on a T7. It'd be like some from Royal Enfield rode a Himalayan to the South Pole, you know? Yep. Like this is pretty crazy. I'd love to see, do we have a route? It says right here, I see that second line. It says, the trip known as 90 degrees south quest for the pole is said to be the first of its kind and will begin on Friday, November 26th in Cape Town, South Africa, before snaking around 479 miles to the Admonton Scott South Pole Station. That's a lot of snow riding.
Yep.
The 39-day adventure will see the riders reach their final destination via the Ross Ice Shelf and the Leverett Glacier, with the bikes ridden on compacted snow track from the ice shelf onwards to reduce drag and limit the emissions generated by the trip. All waste, including human, will be collected of and disposed after the event. Wow.
So they're trying to do like zero carbon footprint or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Someone should tell them that the Himalayans are not, in fact, in the South Pole. Maybe they don't know.
I think they've kind of figured it out at this point. But it looks like they've got chains on there, which I don't think chains actually work in just... It's been a long time since I've been in the Midwest in the winter, but when I see chains, it's always like people using them on like dirt roads, not just like gravel with snow on top of it. Not just like straight snow.
Yeah, so again, I'm not an expert on the South Pole, but to me it would be like ice shelf plus snow on top type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So the hardest conditions to ride in, basically.
Feels like you would need spikes on your tires, like those psychos that do ice racing.
Yeah.
Have you seen those tires?
I have seen those, yeah.
Those look mean. But so they're taking 2 Himalayans on this trip,
Man.
and I'm not sure, is it going to be 39 days because the Himalayan is that slow, or is it going to be 39 days because the trip is going to kind of suck?
Can you do 480 miles divided by 39 for me to see how many miles they're planning on covering per day?
Yeah, here, let me undo the numlock. 489 divided by 39, right?
Yeah.
That is 12 and a half miles a day.
Wow. Jeez.
That is some slow going.
And I wonder if they're gonna like camp in the middle of nowhere as they do it, or like what? I mean, it's so cold there, though. Like,
yeah, that's probably the problem. Like, so the South Pole has during this time of year has more daylight, I think, than the North Pole.
Yes.
So they actually have like daytime, and then they're probably just gonna spend 4 hours a day breaking camp, 4 hours a day setting up camp, and then the other 4 riding.
These guys are gonna die. Like, this is genuinely kind of frightening to think about doing this. But hey, it's a new frontier, something. I mean, I don't think this has ever been done before, right?
No, it's the first of its kind, as they say. And it's pretty cool that Royal Enfield is doing this stuff.
It's pretty sweet, yeah.
Got to give them credit where it's due. They are trying to do some cool stuff.
Well, we rode the Continental GT now. We can now give Royal Enfield credit where it's due.
Yeah, I suppose, but we can also hold them to account, right?
Yeah. What are they doing to mod the bikes for this event?
It looks, I mean, if this is the bike, it looks very basic.
So it says
honestly.
here, to give the bikes a fighting chance, Royal Enfield engineers have given them some gentle upgrades. The main drive sprocket has lost 2 teeth to become a 13, and there's a tubeless wheel setup with studded tires that can be run at low pressures. So will give increased traction, allow for better flotation over soft snow. A stronger alternator has been added to for the heated kit and can be run off the battery. Have also been tested twice at the Langkajul Glacier in Iceland to make sure they are fit for the ride. So relatively stock.
Yeah. I mean, a beefier alternator, that's a pretty easy mod, and then snow tires.
This is, if they can actually succeed and do this is going to be for Royal Enfield what Long Way Round was for BMW.
Yep.
I mean, this would be pretty sick. I really hope they're filming it or doing something with it.
They really should turn it into a
documentary.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why they're taking so long. But they do have the...
they're having support vehicles go with too, right? It's not just 2 dudes on bikes.
Well, let's find out. We can watch the YouTube video. See if we can. I'm going to mute this. See if there's any interesting stuff in this video. Some interviews.
Looks like they're testing
bikes.
stuff.
Oh, that dude binned it in the snow. There's going to be a lot of that.
It reminds me of me in New Mexico.
So it looks like they are going to have some support vehicles from some of these shots. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just because they're testing, but...
I just can't imagine you're going to go down there with no support and just 2 bikes. That sounds like a quick way to just kill yourself. Like,
Yeah, and
that's...
if the Himalayan can do one thing, it's get one person somewhere very slowly.
Yeah.
They cannot get one person and camping gear for the Arctic anywhere.
Not the Arctic, no. That you can't just have like a little bivvy bag and just be like, all right, I'm good to go. Just gonna sleep in this minus 40-degree weather. That's not gonna work. Wow, I mean, best of luck to them for making this journey. We'll keep up to date on it. Man, that's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really, really crazy trip for Royal Enfield to be doing. Yeah.
They're really trying to make that Royal Enfield Himalayan something.
If they succeed in this, every Himalayan owner is never going to shut up about it. They'll be like, this bike made it to the South Pole. Just be like, well, yes, the bike made it, but the team are the people who took it there, Like, they're the ones that count. Like, they probably could have taken any bike and made it if they made it,
That means we just need to take the DRZ or the Gixxer somewhere and just be like, this is the one challenge that was insurmountable, and the Gixxer did it.
Why don't we hoist the Gixxer on a helicopter and like take it all the way up some mountain and just drop it off and be like, well, the Gixxer made it up this mountain. What do you think?
Just push it out of the cargo bay.
Yeah.
I would love to just have Joe at where it's landing in slow-mo, just get it like crumpling.
Can you imagine just like my face coming down with it because the face wrap and everything?
Yup.
Oh my god, so funny.
Just see one of the screaming face on the gas tank. Slow motion getting crunched up.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to Royal Enfield on their snow journey. What's our next bit of news, Spite?
Our next piece of news is this, which we've seen before.
We've seen this before.
So this was many, many moons ago, like over a year ago that we talked about this.
Yep.
Was a Africa Twin naked bike as it was back in the day, and unfortunately, that's not what we got. What we did get was this
a new sport touring bike.
NT 1100, which I think is one of the ugliest motorcycles in a long time.
It's way too much blobby fairing.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely formless right here.
Yeah.
I mean, even this, which is out in, like, the sun, looks like ass.
The eyes are way too big and wide.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm not gelling with the looks.
It looks like a fish. It's got, like, kind of angry fish face.
Yeah. Someone on chat said it looks like that butt ugly Benelli. It does kind of look like that one Benelli. You remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like some 600cc tourer that they had or whatever. It was a triple.
Yeah.
Like the triple that made no power.
Yep. So does this have anything special going on, or is it just simply a
Twin.
sport touring Africa Twin, basically?
1084 cc's, 100 horsepower, 77. I'm assuming probably going to come in DCT and non-DCT versions.
Claims
like
a range
Hondas.
of 250.
Yep, see there's your DCT, no clutch.
Yeah.
God damn, that is a ugly face.
It says here, in standard trim, the NT checks a few boxes: cruise control, heated grip, center stand, hard bags, and a rear rack. That's cool. If you scroll down a little bit, it looks like they have like Apple CarPlay on there, basically, which is pretty nuts. I've never seen that on a bike.
This is just like the Africa Twin.
Yeah.
The Africa Twin has this, and then it's got this other screen.
Yeah, the little clock on the bottom. Now, here's a question for you. I think this doesn't make any goddamn sense. And the question is, do you think that anybody who currently owns an Africa Twin and already uses it for touring would want this?
No.
Why? You know?
Because they already have an Africa Twin, and the Africa Twin's a cool-looking bike.
It's a cool-looking bike, and it can tour just fine. It happens to have a 21, I think, right? So there's that, but...
That just means you can take it off-road.
Means you can go a little off-road with it. Yeah. Not understanding this motorcycle. Maybe, I mean, granted, we are not the most ideal customers for the sport touring market, but...
Well, you say that, but...
I do say that because we're not.
But
we're not 40-year-old dads.
You're having fun on a sport touring bike right now.
It was fun when I rode it today, but it's not the bike I'd choose. And would you choose that?
Oh, God, no.
Would you want to be seen on that bike?
No, not in a million years. If this had the VTEC V4 in it... Then we've got something special, and you can kind of get over the butt ugly face of it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's a V4 touring bike. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
But Honda's just sitting on that V4 right now.
Yep.
They're just, I think, trying to just kind of sunset it, unfortunately.
They're just like, we never made it. It doesn't exist. We won't service it.
Don't know what you're talking about. Go somewhere else.
Yep. You want V4?
V4. You're thinking Ducati. Get out of here.
It just so happens that the one that they made looks just like a fat Panigale.
Yeah.
But so right now, this is only in the European market. So they've only revealed this for Europe, and people are suspecting that it's going to end up stateside, which, given Honda kind of bringing everything but the cool bikes here, I could see them bringing this one.
True.
But, I mean, it's just an Africa Twin with 17s.
Is it the same frame as the Africa Twin?
I mean, it looks like it because it's got the same engine. It's got this whole situation here.
Well, just because it has the same engine, it's based on the same engine, doesn't mean it's the same frame, right? I mean, the Rebel 1100 uses the Africa Twin derived engine, but it's not the same frame.
Let's see here.
Just do a Control F and see if you can find frame in this article. The steel frame, also lifted from the Africa Twin, is designed to handle a pillion and plenty of luggage. Yeah, so it's literally just an Africa Twin.
Mm-hmm. With some real ugly plastic.
Seat height's a little bit lower than an Africa Twin. Yeah, I'm not really understanding why you would do this over the Twin. I mean, you can put luggage on the Twin. It looks way better than this. You can much more easily tackle a little fire road with the Twin. You can't really take this on a fire. I mean, you could, but it'd be a little harder. So,
in a world where we have bikes like the H2 SX SE, like actual cool touring bikes, what do you wager this thing's going to cost? Because it's a Honda, so it's going to be expensive. And the Africa one's like 15.
I bet you this will run like 14 or 15 as well.
That's brutal.
That is brutal.
Save a little bit more money and get something cool. Again, H2 SX SE.
The H2 is very interesting, but I honestly think the Ninja SX, the 1000 SX, is the one to get.
Yeah.
It's like $13,000, and you get 1000cc inline 4. You got all the passing power you could ever need.
It's like 140 horsepower, I think.
Yeah, it's a little more upright and comfortable than the H2 SXE, because that one is like true like boost spec, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why you wouldn't just get that.
Because you really like Hondas and want to look like a nerd. I mean, could they have come up with a more just like plain nerd spec colorway here?
It really just looks like a Giga scooter. Yeah.
I mean, it
looks a lot. It looks like the NC750's final form. You know, like the final evolution, final boss of the NC750.
At least it doesn't have a frunk.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't have a frunk.
Yeah, because the NC750's got that little frunk in the gas tank
It's
area,
not little,
right?
it's gigantic. Like,
Is
you
it?
can fit a full-face helmet in there.
No
Yeah, because
Where does the gas go in that bike then?
I think it's under the seat. Like
okay. On the FTR?
Yep. And they have the engine. It's a parallel twin, but the engine's like this. Like the cylinders are facing forward almost.
Yeah.
It's a really weird layout all around having a gigantic frunk under it.
So practical. So goddamn practical.
So disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Yeah. Not really doing it for me.
Why didn't they just give us a naked bike with this? Like
I don't know because Honda can't have fun. Honda won't do something fun or cool or interesting. Why can't they make a naked bike with the damn V4? They're like, it would be too powerful and cool for this world. Just do something fun.
I mean, that's
Come
why
on.
everybody's riding around on Suzukis and Yamahas, because they're fun.
Yeah.
Kawasaki, if they made a bad decision.
And leading to our next bit of news, it's why they're also getting their asses handed to them in GP. Because they're not having fun.
You want to dive into the GP talk?
Let's dive into the GP talk.
Oh, boy.
Our next bit of news is discussing how the 2021 championship has been wrapped up. Fabio Quartararo has been crowned MotoGP champ, much to the surprise of no one, I would say.
No, it was
However,
pretty obvious.
It was obvious he was going to win, but I don't think it was obvious he was going to win in Misano.
No.
That was pretty dramatic. That whole race was extremely dramatic,
yes.
Right? Pecco Bagnaia crashed out of the lead. Jack Miller crashed. I mean, Ducati was on suicide watch. All of Italy was on suicide watch, man. Like, that was a day to forget. For both of your top riders, they had pole position in second place on the grid, went out. Jack Miller bins it. Pecco bins it. I'm like, God damn.
They all binned in the same corner, too.
Yeah, they all been in the same corners. That one left-hander after all the rights. So I was like, wow, that sucks. It sucks for Ducati.
And the Pecco bin was like spectacular.
Yeah,
the way that bike
he really
tumbled.
ate it.
And the crazy thing is he wouldn't, like, I don't know what had happened there. Like, I don't know if he'd have just run a slightly slower lap and his front tire cooled down, but it literally looked like the bike just went to sleep.
What they said was that the ambient temperature really changed during the race.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, Simon Crafar mentioned that he was on the grid and he was like, whoa, it just got like cold all of a sudden. He was like, oh shit, and then people just started going down like flies, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy to see Marquez pick up his third win of the season.
Yep.
You know, he was pretty humble in his press conference, basically being like, you know, Pecco was going faster. I gave up. He was like, I gave up. He's like, Pecco was too good. He's like, but, you know, he crashed and then I won. Good for me.
And my favorite part of his interview was he's like, yeah, this is Fabio's day, but I'm coming for you next season.
Yeah, next season's going to be really, really interesting. I got to say, from a pure entertainment and show perspective, the guys over at Dorna, I would say, really bumped up the cheese ball effects this time.
Yes.
With Fabio's like AR devil that popped out of the ground and started dancing.
That was a lot.
They had like the red carpet and like he had to stop there. There was like a DJ playing and he was like, yeah, I'm world champion. I was like, did he think up? This feels very Fabio.
Yes.
This doesn't feel very GP. This feels really like your dumb little brother who likes sneakers, you know? Mm-hmm. Like really just feels more Fabio's thing. But he looked just as surprised as everyone else, honestly. He was like, oh shit, like, can you imagine seeing that on your pit box? You're like, you know, you're flying around the laps and all of a sudden Pecco out. You're like, I'm about to become, as long as I don't fucking crash. Even if he crashed, he was like, I'm going to be champion.
Yep.
That would have sucked if he crashed, though.
Yeah, it would.
That would have been the most Fabio Quartararo thing. Like, he crashes and he gets up, he's like, I win!
I still think one of the craziest things was he had slowed down a little bit in that last lap. Yeah. He's like, well, I don't have to care anymore. And then Bastianini stuffs him in the last sector.
Bastianini was an animal. Those last few corners, I was like, this guy looks like he's riding for his life, you know?
Yep.
He was like, I have to save Italy's dignity. Please. He's like, me and this 2-year-old Ducati are going to take it to the line. Yeah, that was an insane stuffing that he had. That was Thanksgiving stuffing came early for Fabio there. I was like, holy shit.
That was maximum
He was like,
disrespect.
get the fuck out of the way.
And you could really tell that Fabio wanted to be on the podium because he pushed so hard to the point where he almost lost it, and then he was like, no.
He's like, no. Yeah, I mean, he ran a super good, consistent season. If it hadn't been for the arm pump issue in Jerez and then the fucking chest gate thing that happened, I don't remember the race. I think it was Silverstone where chest gate happened. He would have
Portimao. I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Yeah, but he would have racked up even more points. But yeah, he ran a really good season. I think that if Suzuki can give Mir a better package next year, he'll be really dangerous because he still was this year. He's got to stop T-boning Miller to start, but he keeps doing that. But I really think that Ducati is going to be super dangerous next year.
Yeah.
I think that if you look at the results of this year, a Ducati has been near the top nearly every goddamn race. You know, it's like it's only a matter of time. And I think Pecco's finally their final piece of the puzzle. And they haven't won a championship since Stoner in 2007, man. Like, it's been a minute for Ducati. It's been a damn minute. So I think next year with Marquez fully fit, Fabio coming back, he's still amazing, and then Pecco, I think that those three are going to be the title contenders for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking that Marquez has something to prove now.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think this victory last week did a lot to make him feel like he's back on top.
Yeah.
He can be his old self again. And now he's just got to come back and be like putting all of those skeptics to bed.
And not crash. He crashed like 5 times this year.
I think part of that's him getting back on the bike, and part of that's the Honda, right? Because he was having some issues.
Do you remember his crash? I think it was in Misano the first time, where he went down at like 170 miles an hour.
Yep.
These dudes are crazy. You know, it's so crazy.
And he just went for a good old slide.
Yep.
And he, came back and raced the next weekend.
Yeah.
Nuts.
A couple people on chat here mentioning other riders that are definitely going to be dangerous as well. I think Morbidelli, if he comes back in full fitness, he's still got the knee issue, but he was running really well in Misano this last weekend before his fitness was a problem. I think Jorge Martin can do some really cool stuff.
I think Martin, he's got another one where he crashes quite spectacularly when he does.
When he goes down, he really bends it.
Because he went skidding across the gravel this last race.
Yeah, he ate it pretty good.
The third Ducati to eat it real good that weekend.
Yeah. Some people also saying, and I agree, Moto2 talent Raul Fernandez coming in, he is spectacular. He might be a serious contention, but he's on the Tech 3 KTM, which has never really been a super competitive package, so we'll see. But he is ridiculously talented. I mean, he was finishing Moto2 races 7 seconds ahead of number 2, right? I mean, just like crazy fast.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's almost like Marquez can make any bike look good.
Yeah.
So you might wonder, can he make the KTM look good?
Maybe.
So, and I'd like to see Mir come back and be dangerous next season. I think that's probably less likely.
Yeah.
I think he's got some work to do.
Yeah.
Between the bike,
I think he's got to stop pulling his bullshit mind games he tries to do like every other weekend, being like, oh, Fabio's under pressure, this and that. I'm like, worry about yourself, man. Like, you're not in your zone. Like, you're thinking about other people. You got to think about you,
Yeah, I think this season probably did a little bit more to humble him than he anticipated.
Yeah.
But he was still third overall.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I think he's got a lot of potential. And then I also think we've got Bastianini to look at, because he's going to be on a modern Ducati.
He's looking interesting for sure. One of the wild cards I think that will be really interesting to watch, it could either be like a Fabio Quartararo situation, or like this dude's going to run in 22nd place, is Brad Binder's brother, Darren Binder, is jumping direct from Moto3 into MotoGP. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so Darren Binder has not really had any meaningful results in Moto3. Known as a pretty aggressive and pretty wild kind of rider. He's jumping direct from Moto3 to MotoGP by way of the Petronas contract. So he's going to be in Rossi's old seat.
Interesting.
With Dovi as his teammate. And a lot of people are like, why the F did you put Darren Binder in that scene? A lot of people are like, what the hell is going on? But I don't know, man. Like he is such a wild and weird rider that it might pan out beautifully.
Yeah.
But my inclination is he's going to be running like 22nd every race.
It's possible.
It's going to be one or the other, you know?
Yep.
And this is something really funny that happens in Grand Prix racing is like, you know, you look at Fabio, right? Like, oh my God, he's so consistent, world champion rider, literally won the championship. He was 10th in Moto2 when they brought him to MotoGP. He was 10th in that category.
Some people just find their stride.
Some people just figure it out on the big bike. Yeah, it's really weird. You can't ever really tell how someone's going to do. And that's what I think is really interesting about the big bike class. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots to look forward in GP, I would say. We'll see if they repave Coda in time for April.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it.
I doubt it too. Because they just had F1 happen here, and I don't think any of the F1 guys cared about the bumps, and they were like, well, if F1 doesn't care, we're just going to roll with it.
Because they had like 500,000 people or something like that.
For GP?
No, for
F1?
F1.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like tons and tons and tons of people. And
yeah.
I mean, it's such a huge event. It's really all I care about.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame because GP is way cooler.
It's way cooler. Yeah.
But whatever. We're just weirdos on two wheels.
Yeah. Yeah.
But question is Fabio going to get his full chest tattoo? Because he does have that one tattoo on his arm of the first time he won.
I would really love if Fabio just slowly, as he wins world championships, is getting faces of himself here. He'll be like the Gixxer 250 of human form. He'll just continue getting faces of himself happier and happier as he racks up world championships. I mean, if he's that talented, we'll see. But I always go back to the fact, I'm like, does Marquez have those? You know, like, does Rossi have his own face on him? No, Fabio, they don't. That was weird. That was weird and you should feel bad.
But I think that's why he's got his chest so perfectly manscaped.
Yeah.
Because he's got it. He was like, I'm prepping for the full chest face tattoo.
Yeah. Midlife Crisis here in chat before we leave. He says, no mention of Vinales, ? I expect some good GPs, not consistent maybe, but some pole, multiple podiums. If Aleix could barely do it this year, Vinales, I don't think we'll be able to do it next year. I have very low expectations for Vinales. I think he's going to be a top 10 finisher often. No podiums for him. I'm going to call it. I don't think so. The level is way too high. It's way too high.
And I think Aprilia does not know who they signed when they signed Vinales.
No.
They did not realize they were signing an absolute drama queen who just does not give a f***.
Yeah. Like, he's fast as hell on pole on a Yamaha. I don't think he'll be able to replicate results on the Aprilia, but he seems to be happier, and that's all that matters.
For now.
That was such a crazy thing that happened this season. Midway through the season, he just, like, yoinked himself out of Yamaha and onto Aprilia. I was like, I've never seen this before, ever.
After he tried to blow up the Yamaha.
Yeah. I love how it was just like the whole situation at Yamaha was like riders coming in and out, and like Cal Crutchlow was doing stuff, Dovi was doing stuff, Morbidelli came in, and Lynn Jarvis is like, this is fine. This is fine. Fabio's going to win. This is fine. This is fine.
They're just, it's kind of like he's Yamaha's Marc Marquez. They're like, just build a program around Fabio, please.
Yeah, Fabio's got it. But Fabio apparently has been hinting that he may not stay at Yamaha for forever. Maybe 2023 he jumps, but where will he jump? I have no idea.
I feel like Jarvis is like, over my cold, dead hands.
Absolutely. I mean, if I were Fabio, I would look back at previous results of when like Rossi jumped to Ducati and how disastrous that was. It's like, if you know the bike and the bike works with you, run a Marc Marquez game plan. Yep. Stay on the bike you know, and win on the bike you know.
Yep.
Unless you're having relationship problems with people in the paddock and you can't, stomach to show up to work every day like Vinales apparently, stay on the bike.
I mean, they'll just get rid of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're winning, they'll just be like, we get you a new crew chief.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't know where he would go.
Ducati. That's the only
That's
one
what
I
think
think
too.
Of.
Like, they drop Miller in 2023 because he's probably not going to post great results, and then Fabio goes there, and then it's like, at that point, it's like, okay, Ducati, you have literally had the championship on a silver platter. Like, you've got Pecco and Quartararo. let's go. Like, this is your year. Win the championship. We're just going to give it to you, right?
Maybe that's why there's going to be 8 Ducatis or something like that on the grid, because they're just like, please, somebody win the championship.
I feel like soon enough, it's going to look like World Supersport, where it's like 20 R6s and 2 Kawasaki's, and they're like, Yamaha's R6 won the Super Sport 600 championship. It's like, it's the only fucking bike on the grid. There's only R6s. So like that for Ducati, there's like 20 Ducatis. Like, Ducati's the world champion. It's like, there's only fucking Ducatis, so of course they are. Yeah, they have like 8 bikes on the grid next year. It's Avincia, the factory team, Pramac, and who's the...
Sky.
Oh, yeah, and Sky VR46. They're not... Yeah, they're Ducatis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jeez.
That's so many Ducatis. Clearly, they're doing very well.
Yeah, we saw their sales figures are up. They're pouring that money back into GP for sure.
Hell yeah.
The CEO's down there every other race weekend.
You better win.
He's like, for the love of God, win. We already have all the press photos ready.
And then they just watched Pecco send that GP bike going tumbling through the gravel pit.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. It just went boink, 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 boink. Brutal. Yeah, terrible. All right, guys, with all that being said about GP, sorry to ramble there for a little bit, we're going to move over to the call-in section of our podcast. Let's get into it. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the call-in portion of the podcast. You guys know the deal. If you want a chance to chat with us on stream, on our podcast, get featured, join over on yaminoob.co. You can join these live streams. We do them every week. And then you can call in via the Discord. And without further ado, today we're doing a general Q&A. So if the boys over on Discord want to press and hold Spite's name, we will take your call and chat about anything you want.
First up, we've got Infernal Saxon, who not able to call, which he thinks he has a Suzuki virus, having dreams of the Jixus 1000 and Gixxer 1000.
And he just says, have a good day.
Okay.
All right, I'd say get the Gixxer Thou if you're primarily a road rider. Get the Gixxer Thou if you want to go and yeet yourself on track, because that's a hell of a bike.
Yep. Next up, we've got Sparks, who called and then hung up. Guitar 00777.
Hey there, Guitar 00777. How's it going? And I think he's on mute here.
Is that better?
That's better. We can hear you.
All right, there we go. How are you guys doing?
We're good. We're doing a general Q&A today, so anything you got, we'll try to answer you.
All right, well, first off, you guys got to stop making fun of me. Because first bike I ever had was a rebuild bike that I did to make it to a cafe racer.
Okay.
Then I fixed it. Then I got a Gixxer 750 off Craigslist for my first bike.
Nice.
Then I sold that. Then the wife wanted to get going, so we got her an NC 700 to work with.
Uh-huh.
Then we got a CBR 650, then an FC10.
Nice. Those are all pretty solid bikes, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, question is, my next bike, I'm thinking of either getting a XSR 700 and turning it into a Scrambler, or just going with a Hyper Motard.
Wow, okay, kind of the two ends of the spectrum there. I like the idea of getting the XSR 700 and putting knobbies on it and just seeing what it'll do. Jake the Garden Snake did something kind of similar with his FZ07 that he had. He basically just turned it into a little Scrambler type of build. So those bikes are pretty flexible and take the mods pretty well. That's what I would do. Spike, what would you do?
Probably the Hyper.
Yeah.
Just because I love me the Supermoto style, even
though you gotta ride one of those.
I really want to.
They're sweet as hell.
I'm a little bit worried that I am gonna ride one and then fall in love with an $18,000 Ducati.
Oh yeah, I almost did. Yeah, when I rode mine in 2019, I was like, do I need this bike? I think I need this bike.
Got, something like
115 horsepower.
Yeah.
And it just makes so much torque.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2-cylinder, not one like your Supermoto.
Because mine's an actual Supermoto. The Hyper Motard is not a Supermoto.
No, it's just a big naked bike.
Rides like one.
Yeah. So Spite says Hyper Motard. I say XSR 700.
All right. Now I'm still in the middle.
Yep, still in the middle. Glad we could help.
All right, I'll just have to get them both then.
Yep.
Well, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, man. See you later.
See you.
That one Hyper you rode a while ago for that shootout.
Oh yeah, the air-cooled one.
Yeah,
That thing was crazy.
That one actually kind of looked like a supermoto.
Yeah, that thing was a beast. That bike was crazy.
That was I'm a little sad I didn't get to take a spin on it.
Yeah.
But. All right, next up we've got Sparks.
Hey there, Sparks. You are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh, hello. I didn't expect to actually be on here. I'm actually off work for once.
Nice. Yeah, so today we're just doing a general Q&A, so if you've got a question, we will try to answer it.
Probably for Spite, because he pretty much looks like me and does Harleys as well. What would probably be the best way to get power out of my Sportster?
To get how much money are you looking to spend?
Well, maybe on the more budget side.
Chain swap, exhaust, air cleaner, tune. That's about the best you can do.
Okay, because I already have pipes on it, and you want to put it from belt to chain?
Yeah, because you're gonna get more direct power out of it. They basically, if you're at all gonna try to build for power, like you keep the Sportster and then you want to go to bigger heads or better cams, you do need a chain eventually, and a chain is gonna give you more direct power than the belt does, because the belt's kind of squishy. So it'll feel a little bit more instantly torquey on a chain. And then if you have pipes plural, you're going to want to go to a 2-1 as opposed to 2-2, because then you're not going to get scavenging from the pipes. So you need to get a 2-1 system with an air cleaner, and that's going to allow your engine. At that point, you're going to be putting in way more air and exhausting way more air than your engine can really make use of. But again, if you want to go for big power later on down the line, then you have some good parts surrounding it.
I can't believe you didn't tell this man to put a turbo on that bike.
You can turbo a Sportster if you want.
Just turbo it. That's it.
Yeah.
It'll make 60 horsepower, and that's good.
Jeez. Or I can just not go through the trouble and just get the new Sportster.
Yeah.
Well, the new Sportster's a very different kind of motorcycle.
It's very expensive, too.
$15,000, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Turbo Busa money.
They're not even in stock where I'm at. I tried to go sit on one and it was already sold.
Yeah. They're if you get a chance to ride one, do give it a shot, because it is going to solve your power problems instantly, but it's not a true traditional Sportster. So
yeah, as a shout out to Zach Kors, I saw his Sportster first try. That man was ripping wheelies on a Sportster. I was like, holy crap, that thing rips.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
I'm all right with the non-traditional Sportster, because Harley finally did what me and my dad have been saying they need to do for years.
Yep.
So
then it's probably better to just go straight for the regular Sportster, because you can spend way more than $15,000 getting a Sportster built, one of the old ones. So
yeah,
and I have a 2020, so
I mean, you probably sell that thing for what you bought it for now.
Yeah, I only have a little over 2,000 miles on it, because I'm in California, so every time I'm out working, I find new spots to ride.
Nice. Yeah, well, best of luck with the Sportster build, man. Let us know how it goes.
I will. Looking forward to the Turbo Hayabusa. Don't kill yourself on it.
No, I have not. If you want to see videos on it, I think you got to scroll up and behind the scenes chat on Discord, and there's some secret videos of the Turbo Busa being run that you can watch.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem, guys. You guys take care.
Jack Thomason here on stream says, cannot figure out how to call in. I'm ruined. Jack, if you're on the mobile app on Discord, just press and hold Spite's name on the server, and you'll see a little phone icon, and you can connect right there on your phone. So just letting you know.
Yep. Next up, we've got Dreadnought, who is not Africa Twin or Pan Am.
Oh, okay. Well, you answer this.
Pan Am.
I'm inclined to say Pan Am as well, but I've not ridden either one of these two bikes, so I'm at a bit of a loss.
The Pan Am makes 150 horsepower. It's a proper super sport tourer, proper super adventure, I suppose. Africa Twin is actually like a really dirt capable bike. Mm-hmm. But I think for the kind of riding that most adventure riders want to do, the Pan Am is perfect.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a little bit of a price disparity too. Like a fully loaded Africa Twin is like 17, right? Whereas the Pan Am starts at 20. Basically.
It starts at 19, and then the good one is 20.
Yeah.
So
a little price disparity, but I imagine that if you're looking at a flagship adventure bike, you're flexible on price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Breezy Wonder.
Hey there, Breezy Wonder. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. General Q&A today. What have you got for us?
So I have 2 questions. Hopefully they're quick. I have a 2016 675R.
Nice.
And I'm at 6,500 miles, and I had to do the 6,000 mile service on it. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering what's the more important things to do. Like I read the manual that the bike comes with. I bought new spark plugs from Triumph because it said you got to check them. Might as well just swap them out if I'm going to be there. I bought a new air filter, and then we'll do a coolant flush and oil change when the season gets back up and running. But is there anything else you think I should do to the bike past that?
Honestly, at 6,000 miles, no. It's just a quick fluid flush. I think it's great you're doing the coolant. A lot of people overlook that. That's what I was going to mention. Oil change, real easy to do. New spark plugs is great too. Actually, I probably need to do that on my race bike. Somehow it still keeps going and turning, but I've never changed the spark plug since I bought that bike like 3 years ago, so kind of weird. But yeah, you should be fine with just that. That's my opinion.
All right, perfect, because Triumph Brooklyn, I actually just picked up the parts today from them, which is pretty cheap.
Nice.
So the second question is the bike. I bought it from a guy who he took really good care of it at 5,000 miles, and he has a Scorpion exhaust on it, which is the only full system you can really buy from Revzilla. Which I understand because it's kind of hard to get full systems to a certain extent. But he also has a Power Commander 5 on it, and I was thinking of actually getting a K&N filter for the bike. But I looked on Power Commander's website, downloaded the program, and there's no tune for an aftermarket or K&N filter and like an Aero exhaust. It's all really stock air filter or a Hindle full system or Aero slip-ons and stuff. So my question is there a way on Power Commander, like on the program or whatever the case is, to like mix and match equipment, like K&N air filter and like say I want to put an Aero full system?
So you've got a couple options here. First, to answer your question, there's no way for you really to do it and for it to be accurate, but you could take it to a tuner and they can probably get your air to fuel ratio tables looking right for your new filter setup. But to be perfectly honest, if you've already got a full system on your bike, I say you should just flash the ECU. You get way better results with it. I don't know. You said you had a 2016 675R, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to remember. There was like 2 years when they came out. I think it's the 14 and the 15s where the R bikes actually had race ECUs from the factory with the 1-to-1 throttle mapping and the advanced timing and stuff. My bike actually had that, so when I went to flash the ECU, they were like, "You already have the race ECU." I was like, "Sick." Which was a gigantic waste of money and time on my end, but you can reach out to tuning companies and see what their turnaround times are. Usually they'll ship you out a dongle and then they'll send you the map and you can just load it up on the bike and you're done in 5 minutes and the bike will run perfectly and more strongly than you ever thought possible. Especially if you have a full system. Like I remember when I put a full system on my race bike and I finished up the flash and everything, the top end felt like it had an extra 10 or 15 horsepower. It was so much faster. It was way faster.
Okay. So do you think it's just a good idea? I mean, because there's a place in Jersey, it's called Baus Racing. They do dyno tunes. Do you think I just might as well just do that?
Unless they can like get into the ECU and flash it themselves, they're probably just going to work off your Power Commander for that dyno tune. That's what I did with the Turbo Busa, for example. But it's really to get into all the parameters and get the bike perfect for you. You really want someone who can get into the ECU and do it. And typically dyno companies can't do that. It's like a separate company that's going to flash the ECU.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know who I should use that can do that? I can get a flash.
Yeah,
from.
I'm trying to remember the name of the guys that did mine on my bike. I'll look back in my history on my internet browser here, and I can DM it to you on Discord, because I don't remember the name of the company right now off the top of my head.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I can send it over to you. They do a good turnaround. Like I said, they'll send you out a dongle, and then you can you get it all sorted.
So would that alleviate the fact of having a power commander?
Yes. Yeah, you can effectively remove the power commander from your bike, because you're going to be completely rewiring the ECU on your bike.
Oh, fuck, sick. All right. Sweet. Yeah, I'll shoot you a message and give you a reminder in the next day or two, and if worst case scenario, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Best of luck. I love seeing a Daytona owner out there trying to get the max out of their bikes.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya. That was such a disappointment when I booted it up and they were like, "You already have a race ECU." I was like, "Cool, I just blew $800 for nothing." Sucked. All right, who's next?
Next up, he's not there. How about Dragon Sin M?
Hey there, Dragon Sin M. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Oh my gosh. Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're doing a general Q&A today, so if you got a question, we'll try to answer it.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to call you guys last week, but I had to go do something. So I really got into motorcycling about 4.5 months ago, and I got a 1982 KZ250 as my first bike.
Wow, cool.
So that old motorcycle versus new motorcycle was a lot of fun to see and compare. With the new bike I just got, it's the 2006 Ninja 500R. So I'm sticking to the Kawasaki family. The thing that I'm curious about is, number one, how the heck does it have 81 horsepower in it?
I don't think it does. Where did you see that figure?
One motorcycling site spec said it had 81, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
No, the Ninja 500 is probably going to be closer to like 50, I think.
50 tops, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just booted it up here on my Google. It says 81.5 horsepower out of a 2006 Ninja 500. I don't believe that at all.
What does motorcyclespecs.co.za say?
They say 60 horsepower.
That still seems high.
That seems a little high, but that seems more reasonable, especially for the 500. It's funny you said it's a new bike, because the 500 wasn't updated for like a long time. So your bike is still carbureted and it's still like a steel cradle frame and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My buddy had one of those bikes. I remember I was like, "What year is this?" He's like, "Oh, it's an 08, but it looked like this." Mm-hmm. And so I was like, "The hell? No, it's not."
Yeah, it stuck with it for a while.
Yeah.
No, the speedometer cable just barely broke on it, and so I ordered a new one.
Yeah. They're good bikes though, man. Those are really solid motorcycles, even though they have, from what I'm seeing here, an iron double cradle frame.
Wait, what?
It says it's an iron frame.
Oh my god.
It's not even steel.
That's like some Harley stuff right there.
Oh yeah, this is a proper old school bike, dude. I mean, look at it.
Yeah. But iron, man, that's brutal. It's like an old gate.
Yeah, so definitely not 80 horsepower to this bad boy. I'm sure you felt that it's not 80 horsepower.
I love it. I absolutely love it. The thing is me and my friend, he has a 600. I don't remember what it was. I think it was a Honda 600 or something. Uh-huh. But me and him started doing polls, and at the top end, I beat him for some unknown reason.
Well, it is a Honda 600. Those pull pretty bad, so.
No, but
if it was a Cowie 600, you'd be screwed.
No, but I'm having so much fun, and I dream of the day that I can get an R7. So,
nice. Well, hey, man, maybe you'll win ours. That would be pretty sweet.
I'm hoping. I told my parents about the Fireblade, and they're like, no, don't get that.
They're like, don't even enter to win it. Yeah, that bike is pretty ridiculous.
But I love the Ninja 500R, and it's a great bike so far. and I love it. So anyway, thank you guys for making the videos you do. I have so much fun watching them at work and listening to the Yamcast at work. So you guys have fun talking to the rest of them, but you're great.
All right, man. Thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it.
See you guys around.
See ya.
All right, next up we've got Mr. Deegs.
Hey there, Mr. Deegs. You were on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you, Yami?
Good, good. We're doing a general Q&A today. What have you got for us?
So, I think I called in like last week asking about the R660, and now I'm just thinking, I'm trying to build up my gear for when the spring comes around, and I just want your opinion on should I fork over the money for some good leather, like a good leather jacket for like the abrasion resistance, or do you think I could get away with? Because I'm looking at this Dainese. It's kind of like a base jacket that has like chest, elbow, shoulder, and back protection. I think they're all like CE2. I'm just wondering if you think I should fork over the money for the full abrasion resistance as well, or do you think I could really get away with that?
I think you should always buy the level of protection you're able to afford and the most you want to wear. So if you're able to buy the leather abrasion protection and it's going to work for the environment you live in, if you don't live somewhere too hot or something like that, and you're going to be comfortable in it, I would say go for it. What do you think, Spite?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going with textile, I always make sure that it's got some sort of like Kevlar backing so that it can go for a slide.
Okay.
But I always I look for good armor in the right spots with a back protector. Textile needs the slide stuff at least in the right spots. Doesn't need to be like a full suit because that gets hot.
Okay.
And then I always wear leather in the winter because it's warmer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean that was basically it because I'm trying to make sure I get everything all set up before I even buy my bike. Or even take the MSF course because, I kind of want to show up and look prepared.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, that was all I really want to ask for this Yamcast. Hopefully you guys get to that 1 million so you can release that video about the Turbo Busa.
We are waiting with bated breath. We're almost there. 20,000 more subs to go, I think.
Oh, God. I need to tell more people about it.
It'll happen probably before the end of the year. We're excited.
I'm hoping. Hey, have a good one, guys.
Thanks, man.
Alrighty, next up we've got Jack.
J-Jack.
J-Jack.
19.
19, okay.
Hey there, Jack 19. You are on the Yamcast. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, good. I think you were on here on the stream figuring out how to call. Glad you're able to call in. We're doing a general Q&A today, so what have you got for us?
Yes, sir. I got a kind of a two-parter. The first part's a little more specific, and then the second part's a little bit more general. But I'm heading down to pick up a Jixus 750, and I was looking at like putting some frame sliders on it, and then I got into that, and I see that there's frame sliders, bar end sliders, axle sliders. So what do you need? Should I get all of those, or how does that work?
Normally for my motorcycles, personal preference on them, I normally just go with case sliders. I don't really love frame sliders as much on street bikes, mostly because they can get caught in soft dirt and like do weird stuff when they go down. For the most part, they work pretty well if you slide off on track or something, if you have a nice smooth surface. But if the surface is bumpy or something like that, I don't really love frame sliders. So I like case sliders for first and foremost on my bikes. Bar end kind of blockers or sliders are good if you're going to have like a low speed tip over or something. They can prevent damage to your handlebars or your clip-ons and stuff. That's kind of my go-to, Spite. I know you're more on the protection side of things. Do you have frame sliders on your Sumo?
I don't have frame sliders. I have case savers.
Yeah.
And then I've got axle sliders.
Yeah.
The only reason I have axle sliders is because my forks are so long that they would grind on the ground if the bike went down. So I have them on there just in case, mostly to protect them in case I tip the bike over, which has happened more than once. So the handlebars on my bike are so freaking long that nothing else touches the ground. So I'm probably okay even without the case sliders, but I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, yeah, awesome. And this is kind of my second bike, but it's the first one that I'm picking up, kind of new from a dealership, and I want to take care of it, hence the sliders and all that. I'm looking at like what kind of other accoutrements, accessories and things should you have? I have like a covered little carport thing, but I see that birds like to nest in that, so I'm going to get a cover for my bike so it doesn't get covered with all the bird crap. And just what would you recommend, not necessarily mods for a bike, but like what should every good motorcyclist have in their garage, just to protect everything? Like what good,
So
good.
the number one thing I would recommend for you, especially if you're parking it outside, I don't know where you live, but here in Austin, you park a bike outside, you're basically just asking for it to get stolen. I'd invest in a nice beefy brake lock. That's what I would do first and foremost, especially a brand new bike like that. I'd get a beefy brake lock to put on your bike, and that'll be good to go. Slip-on exhaust, always nice. Tail tidy, that sort of thing I would do too. Spike, what would you do?
I would forego brake lock and go straight with chain. If you're in a carport, you should be able to chain it to the carport.
There's a pillar or something, yeah?
Yeah, so I have on the DRZ and the SMCR, I now run a New York noose, it's called. And it's super, super heavy duty galvanized chain and a heavy duty lock that I run.
You unfortunately have had one bike stolen and recovered, and then another bike attempted stolen, right?
Yep.
Which is like a big ass bummer.
Yep. I still haven't fixed the KTM yet. I need to, because it was too little damage to the motorcycle, I have to foot the bill. So I'm saving up to buy the parts, and obviously they're not available from KTM right now, so I have to wait. But yeah, I would go with a heavy-duty chain that you can run from the rear wheel to somewhere on the frame, because that is going to completely immobilize the motorcycle, and it's obvious. Second thing, if you're storing it outside, get a plug for your exhaust, because critters will like to get inside your exhaust and like nest up in there. I'd also get a cover, just because if you're in a carport, you don't want your bolts and stuff to rust up. So general, like keeping it nice stuff, those were the three things that I'd go for.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That sounds awesome. And I'm in a rural area, so yeah, the plugs and to keep the critters out, that's definitely some good information. And I just thank you for the information, and I love you guys. And I live in a rural area, so it's great to have like this community with the Discord and y'all. So I really appreciate it.
Awesome. If I might ask, because you said you got that Jigsaw 750 from a dealership, how much did you pay for it?
I'm going down there this Saturday to get it, but it's actually to make a long story short, I was trying to get a Jigsaw from in-state, and then they sold it out from under me after taking my deposit on it. And now I'm going to North Carolina, and it's a 2021 ABS. I believe that goes for $8,900, and it's got 1,024 miles on it. So pretty low mileage, and they're only asking $7,500 for it with the the slip on and some.
God damn,
that's insane. That's less than what you'd pay for an MT-07. So you're gonna have a lot of fun with that bike. That's awesome.
Oh, for sure. I'm looking forward to the full plaid experience.
Yeah, sweet man. Well, enjoy. We'll talk to you later.
Absolutely, y'all fellas have a good one.
Man,
I had to know because I was like, I know they sell those for dirt cheap.
You can get so much money with Suzuki's. God damn.
Remember we had the Gixxer 1000. I was like, you can buy these for like $8,600. You're like, what the fuck? It's insane.
You can get so much bike. Next up, we've got Mooncake. Best mods for Scrambler Icon. Already have sport touring types.
Lots of love from Brazil. Excellent. Love seeing the Brazil. Best mods for stock Scrambler Icon. Gotta be a pipe. You gotta hear that thing, man.
Hell yeah.
That bike sounds awesome. I would say a pipe and a nice little power commander. That'd be my vote. Yeah.
I mean, it's just you have to have the velvety smooth sound out of that engine.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts.
Other than that, just some fun farkles.
Yeah. Like a turbo.
You go ahead and try that on the sled. See how that happens.
Turbo. Every single one of my bikes is turboed.
I'm sure that somebody would love trying to make a turbo for the 675R. That's what'll blow the heads off.
That's sacrilege. Absolute sacrilege to turbo that bike.
All right, next up we've got N. Harvey 17.
All right, this is going to be the last one because we've run out of time on that card.
Okay. Currently own an R7 and realized I can't see jack when I tuck. I have a CL17. Would you recommend going for a full race helmet?
To mitigate this, despite me not doing track days. Weird that you can't see when you tuck.
What does a CL17 look
that
like?
shouldn't be happening. Maybe, yeah, let's see this 17 here. Oh, it's an HGC.
Yeah. That is odd.
That shouldn't be happening.
Are you sure you're wearing the helmet right?
Are you wearing the helmet right, and is the helmet sized correctly for you is the other question. Because you should be able to tuck in and have a very wide field of view and be able to see it whenever you tuck in. I just took that bike on track like 2 weeks ago, and it was totally fine for me. Yeah. See if your helmet is fitting correctly and is the right size. If not, sure, get another more racy helmet. That might help. But that's going to wrap up the call-in for today, folks. We've actually run out of time, and we're not going to move over to the meme contest where we have something quite special for today. Let's get into it. Alrighty, folks, welcome to the meme contest of the week. This week's meme contest was a little different, wasn't it, Splay?
Yeah, so in classic Yammy Noob fashion, I figured it was time to do a types of riders you'll meet. I actually just wrote one of these the other day, and I figured I would pass the ball to y'all in the Discord this week. So I left it open, just any type of rider you'll meet, not a specific type like leader bike or beginner. Just give us the style and write us a 300-word chunk of a script, and who knows, maybe if we've got enough to work with, we can turn it into a video powered by the Discord boys or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. How are we rating these today?
So we've got our creativity and funniness. I feel like creativity does it have that Yammy Noob feel? And could you see it in the list? And
is it something new or different? Maybe a rider we haven't identified in the past, which seems impossible. We've done all the science, right? All the research.
But there's new squids evolving every day.
Truly there are. Yeah.
And then we've got funniness, which that's obvious. Is it funny?
Yep.
Got to be funny if it's in a list. Okay, starting us off, we've got shippers.
All right, and I have not read these before, so if I butcher them or mess up the sentences, please cut me some slack. Shippers here says, the showboat rider, the rider that has that one MT-07 with the straight pipes that can call on the demons of hell to the earth just so that they can erase the pain that keeps pulsating in your ear after one of these dudes drops to second gear and poorly wheelies in the middle of a group ride. That one dude that saw a Brazilian guy in a video on Instagram saying that you should turn ABS off and on the track so that when you can get used to the feeling of braking, and so you decide to unplug the fuse and run it just so you can crash on your way to work because you are the embodiment of a street Rossi. If that wasn't a run-on sentence, I don't know what is.
That was a powerful run-on, and I have written some powerful
That sentence was running, it tripped, and it kept running. Okay. The showboat can blend quite well with squids, but it can blend quite well with the ATGAT crew as well, since sometimes he can be sighted wheeling the aforementioned MT-07, but in the next day be wearing a full leather suit that he bought on Amazon and the knee pads keep falling off, maybe because he took them off so many times that he could scrub them with the grinder so that he could tell you how he dragged knees on those twisties he rode on the weekend, and that he could keep up with that new BMW S1000 and the dude that was shit at riding. At the end of the day, the showboat is just an insecure rider and wants the attention, so just talk to him, take pity upon these souls, and show them the correct way of riding. The way of Papa Yams. Show him a track, and then out of spite and hatred for how many times that damn bike gave you headaches with that MT-07 for a Royal Enfield, so that he can understand what it is to feel despair as you have felt. Wow. Shippers, I don't mean to be cruel, but I think you might need to go back to English class because these sentences were very hard to read.
If I'm not mistaken, Shippers is in Spain.
Wow, I feel like an asshole.
Or Portugal, rather.
Okay, I'm so sorry, Shippers. Actually, you know what? Applause then, since writing for something that wasn't even in your maiden language.
So, for...
I feel like a dick. Okay.
So, for Shippers...
I'm just assuming that he just like doesn't know how to write English. It's like, it's not even his main language. I'm like, great. Good job, Yam. Creativity here. I think we've done kind of an MT-07 showboaty style rider type of thing. I think I'm going to give this like a 5.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And funniness.
I think this is a 5.5 for funniness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reasonably funny, but nothing gets, the gut bust.
Feel might be like kind of back half of the script sort of situation. Next up, we've got Vince 82.
Okay, Vince 82, it says, The Know-It-All. You might encounter a guy on one of your rides that knows it all. Maybe you won't. Maybe it's you. The guy has an opinion on everything and he will tell you about it. Passionately. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he ain't, but it won't make a difference. He will make his opinion loud and clear until the conversation ends anyway. His need for discussion will pierce your eardrums with an inescapable banter until they bleed. From the right way to put pants on a dog, to how to lube and tension your chain, passing by Taiwan's right to sovereignty and why Harley was right to kill Buell, he is unstoppable. He is like Doctor Strange versus Dormammu, using the time stone to keep discussions going. He will annoy the wall, smash everyone's balls between a giant vocabulary and paper copy of Politico with plausible yet sometimes ridiculously incorrect explanations. On your cardo, why did you sink him? Why is this guy in your group again? Oh sure, because because he knows the best roads. F it though. He does. So you keep following him, and then one day, without ever noticing, you find yourself mansplaining somebody that solo shot first, and you know in that moment there's no way back. Pretty funny. Yeah.
I like that one.
There's I think everyone can attest to either in their motorcycle group or in their life knowing a know-it-all.
Yup. Yeah.
It's a rough place to be.
So, for Vince 82, creativity here. I know we've done the know-it-all before.
We've done the know-it-all and a couple permutations of the know-it-all.
But I like the way it was written.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think a 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
And funniness here.
Pretty funny. I think also a 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 13. Next up, we've got Breadneck.
Good username. All right.
I'll have to scroll halfway through.
No worries. Breadneck here says, it's the clapped out Cleveland rider / Midwest rider. Hey bro, what kind of Harley is that? Is a common question these riders get asked. Truth is, they aren't quite sure. I mean, it looks like a Road King, but it's got a V8 Cummins turbo diesel? The Cleveland Cruiser is known for their tasteless mods from far and wide. Something about keeping a man locked in his house for 5 months while the world around them freezes over breaks his spirit. In an effort to keep sane, he does what his father's father, and his father's father did before him. Wrench. Like a misunderstood artist, he creates without audience, locking himself in his garage for weeks. It's just him and the bike, till finally after the 13th bush light, it hits him. Screw handlebars, he says to himself aloud while reaching for tools. The result is a thing of nightmares. A motorcycle with a steering wheel. Midwest riders are masters of the craft of needless modifications. If it can be modified, it will be. They often spend too much time asking whether they could route their exhaust to be handlebars. They don't stop to consider whether they should. As a result of the gumption of these crazy hooligans, Craigslists all over Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana are filled with crazy, stupid death machines. These riders are a blessing and a curse to society. On one hand, we can marvel at the crazy, stupid contraptions rolling down our road. On the other, it's inevitable that their projects are going to end up on an It Came From Craigslist near you. Even if you don't understand them, you got to respect the Midwest wrencher. Putting all that work and power into a motorcycle just so they can take it out and go 5 under on the freeway is one hell of a purpose, and we are forever thankful that they do it. All right.
I like that one.
Yeah, that one really did feel classic gaming noob, and I like the shout out to the Cleveland, because I remember the Cleveland Craigslist episode I did is like legendary at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the craziest shits I've ever seen.
The big wheel baggers.
The big wheel baggers.
There's
so many big wheel baggers.
Creativity here. This feels high.
It was good. I think this is 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funniness.
Funniness, I think a 6.5 or a 7 for this one.
I'm feeling a 7.
I think I got a decent chuckle out of me for some parts. Yeah, 7.
Next up, Purple Liger with this one. Short and sweet.
A Purple Liger here says, the rider who bought the wrong bike. From the anachronistic hipster on an Energica to the anatopistic? Do you know what word that is?
Let's right-click and see what they were trying for.
Anatomist?
No.
I'm going to say apoplectic. Goldwing dad riding single track. This rider comes in all shapes and sizes. They heard that a bike was a jack of all trades, took that as a challenge, and now they're turned their Sportster into a track bike. No need to feel sorry for these riders. They're just happy to be on two wheels. Except for the guys who bought a Versus 650 to pick up chicks. I'm sorry, you may think you have enough rugged good looks to make up for your mistake, but unless you're our one true savior, Ari Henning, you don't. Goodbye. I saw on Instagram, Ari rents out his Versus 650 on Twisted Road, and he cobbles together like bespoke routes for everybody who rents it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, dude, how cool would that be to get like a handcrafted route from Ari Henning?
That would be sweet.
Yeah, like some dude rented his Versus and he's gonna do like an 800-mile trip through like these amazing back roads in California. I was like, that sounds extremely good.
That seems like video-worthy stuff right there.
I know it does.
We rented Ari's Versus and got a route from him.
Yeah, apparently they have a very draconian clause in the Revzilla thing that they can't appear in any other media. So we'd have to say we rented a Versus 650 and rode it in California. It can't be Ari Hennig. I don't think we could say his name or anything.
Damn.
I know. I asked him because I wanted him to appear on the Yamcast, and he was like, I don't think they're gonna let me. I was like, gotta break those shackles free, Ari. I was like, break them free, Ari.
Bummer.
I know.
All right, so for a Purple Liger here, creativity.
Creativity for this one, I liked it. I think it's a 7 for creativity.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And funniness, a little bit lower.
A little lower, not too funny. I think a 6.
Yeah. That is a 13. Next up, we've got Hack Jockey, who wrote 3 separate ones here.
Okay.
It didn't quite get he. Almost, according to Whitney, wrote like the entire list.
Wow.
So, I guess she picked her favorites.
Okay. So Hack Jockey here says, number 1, the Chrome Lamppost. This rider moniker was earned by never being seen leaving the parking lot. He's most frequently spotted stalking sales girls at Harley dealerships when not monopolizing the parts department staff. A cheap, soggy cigar is clenched in his teeth between swigs of Coors Light. They go to great lengths to point out every highly polished chrome accessory they paid the Harley dealership to install. Come fall, they're out for their final ride to kill the tank of gas they put on their bike in late April. Their sub-habitat is vulturing tin trays of barbecue at hog rallies. Their favorite group is Guns N' Roses. Number 2, the silicone boob hunchback. After purchasing a Super Rat Ultra Classic, this aficionado maxed his credit cards getting his girlfriend a boob job. They're always clad in sleeveless black label Harley apparel to include a quasi-psychedelic bandana pulled down to the top of their ears and over their eyebrows. Reflective sunglasses are, of course, perfunctory. Sweetie on the back is so artificially stacked that instead of her man leaning comfortably against a pair of delightful fun muffins, Hunchback has to slouch awkwardly to avoid getting beat to death by her rock-hard bumper bullets. He's often heard lamenting the need to add a backrest, sub-habitat, tattoo parlors. I like how these are being read as like encyclopedia entries for animals.
Yup.
The next one, Tally Ho, here we go. Highly sun-baked former 1%ers who now bounce from town to town until they find a place to crash. Preferred bike is an AMF Harley with more leaks than the Justice Department. Their bikes are battle-worn with ball tires and with only one functional brake. As maintenance is an irksome and expensive task, their bikes require elaborate starting rituals that rival the most impressive Polynesian fertility dances. This is really good. Their bikes bathe their owner, thus sport interesting butt-gut patinas. Oh, hold on. Their bikes bath... Is it bath or bathe? What's he trying to say here? Their bikes bathe with their owner, thus sport interesting bug-gut patinas.
I don't understand.
I don't understand. Sub-habitat is at the bar spinning yarns in exchange for beer. They were roadies for their favorite group, Guns N' Roses. Damn, I feel like any one of these, if he fleshed it out a little more, could have been a solid just one entry, but we got 3 for the price of 1 here.
There's some... I've seen... So when I went to Sturgis, I
bet you saw all of these.
All of these.
Yeah.
Yep. This person has been to Sturgis.
This person has been to Sturgis and been around the Harley folk. That was really good. There's some good lines in there. That was solid. That was really solid.
So, for Hack Jockey here, creativity.
I'm going to give it a 8.5.
Yeah.
It was very creative. Because I don't know anything about that subculture, so I was like, this is really funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it.
And funniness here.
Funniness, I think I'm going to give it an 8. That got a good chuckle out of me. I liked it.
A solid 8. That's a 16.5, a new front runner. Next up, we've got Bo. With this one right here.
Bo here says, Cruiser Santa. This legendary cryptid humanoid is a master of camouflage. In full leather daddy that is vaguely MC-ish, magnificent snow-white beard without a hint of yellowing, and no helmet. But when you think back to your encounter later, you will be completely unable to remember anything distinguishable about his cut. Whether it is a quick fix for a malfunctioning carb on the side of the road or inviting you to a charity ride later, he has appreciation for your bike even if it isn't the right style for him. This jolly-natured being doesn't have the capacity for a disparaging word and is entirely enthusiastic about whatever type of ride you may be on. He may claim to be on his way to meet his friends or just off for a ride, but don't be mistaken. You will see no hint of another rider after he sends you on your way with a completely heartfelt compliment about your motorcycle that oddly warms you from the inside, like validating words of pride you wish to always hear from your emotionally distant father.
That closed on a perfect Yami Noob note right there.
Yep.
And we actually encountered somebody very similar to this when we went to Utah. Were you around when we saw the motorcycle doctor?
I don't think so. I would have remembered this.
This dude rolls through on a beat up old panhead Harley.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a shovelhead. I don't remember. And words don't do it justice. You need to see the picture of this dude, but it was basically some crusty, like sun leather tanned hide dude who spends way too much time in the desert, who just rides around with a toolkit fixing bikes that break down in Escalante.
Wow.
Very interesting human being, and it basically this guy right here, except without the gut.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good. Yeah.
Actually, a type that exists. So, for Bo, creativity.
I think I'm going to give this one either a 6.5 or a 7. What do you think?
I'm feeling a 7.
7. All right.
Funniness.
It wasn't funny so much as it was like almost poignant and sad towards the end. So I think I'll give it a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
That is a 12. Next up, we've got Bad Moto Trucker.
All right. Okay. Bad Moto Trucker here, the tired of being dunked on squid. Says he is a brave yet sensible cephalopod. He started out on a budget with no other squidlets as friends. He had no clear path on his journey, but his heart was pure and his goals were lofty. In ancient times, he cut his teeth on a Yamaha Enduro 80. Then after gestation, he spent years in prepubescent in a shameful cage. Until one day he broke free from the cage with the help of a Suzuki S40 Boulevard to relearn how to swim. After being transformed during puberty, he thought he leveled up and stumbled a bit by riding a Suzuki Bergman 650 in a failed attempt to attract the mate, and then repelling the fairer squids and all the cool squids, overcorrected and got a Craigslist riding dirty Suzuki Marauder, no title, no owner's manual, no bill of sale, and no respect because it's not a real bike, and joined an outlaw squid club, but after realizing they were more focused on partying and politics, left on good terms. This is reading like a biography, I would say, an autobiography maybe. After many years of explaining himself and being emasculated by countless cooler squids, finally achieved maturity and got a big dick storied leader back. He is tired of talking, tired of explaining, tired of getting dunked on by all the manly squids. He is a student of Marquez, a faithful disciple of the Lord Rossi. He toils quietly, sweating it out in the dojo, and is ready for whatever the cool squids can throw at him. He is piloting a patrician Triumph Speed Triple. He is manscaping, living at-gat, repping Dainese, kicking ass, dragging knee, and never taking crap from the cool squids, Harley Pirates, or Dad Venture touring riders, Elder Clan squids either. If you see him out and about, just knows he knows the mountain roads better than you and will not stop until his manhood is known to all normies in the land and will have songs written to him in tribute for all eternity. That was just Bad Motor Trucker just doing this for 20 minutes. If you guys on stream don't know, Bad Motor Trucker actually owns a street speed triple, and he calls about it almost every week. And it's a sweet bike. I like the speed triple, but that was definitely some gratuitous
Shoulder padding. Yep.
Shoulder padding, yeah.
All right, so for Bad Moto Trucker here, creativity.
I think it's too specific for his one journey. It's not general enough to be a type of rider, I'd say. So I think a 5.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
And funniness.
I think a 5.5 as well. Reasonably funny, but nothing earth shattering.
Yep. That is an 11 for Bad Moto Trucker. Next up, we've got Travis Super Duke.
All right, Travis Super Duke, the All Ride Safe Squid. We have definitely done this one before.
Yep.
What can be said about this guy? You have all met him. He has always promises to ride safe and not take the street corners at the speed of Rossi. Sometimes he even starts to ride just chilling in the middle of the pack, doing exactly what he said. But it only takes one squid or one exhaust that's screaming a challenge at him for all of his promises to melt into nothing as he takes his Super Duke or MT-09 into super ultra speed mode and passes everyone on the left-hand side of the corner like the squid he really is. You don't know if you admire their endless belief in their own self-restraint or if you despise their complete lack of common sense when they call that competition and adrenaline calls his name. He knows he shouldn't answer, but he does every time. Yeah, we definitely know many people like that. Some would even say that we are kind of like that.
A little bit, yeah.
I feel like it just takes, like, if we are out the high horsepower bikes, it just takes me or you to just break the seal a little bit, and we're like, we're going. Okay, we're going. Okay, yep. we're gonna go.
I took the FTR out today, and I definitely did some stuff.
Yep.
I mean,
it happens.
Bringing that thing out through fourth gear all the way to redline is all that bike wants to do, so I had to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Travis Super Duke here, creativity.
This is a very known squid type. Not super creative, so I think a 5.
A 5.
Yeah.
Funniness.
Reasonably funny. I think a 6, maybe.
Yeah, 6.
6, yeah. Seems fair.
That is an 11. Last up, we've got Hartman Foscari.
I know it's coming.
Yep.
This is our DCT. Yep, there it is. This guy, all he talks about is DCT on our server, and I don't know why. I don't know why we have to be subjected to this. Okay.
Here we go.
Hartman Foscari says, the auto DCT/CVT boy. This technologic biker who is a cousin of the researcher biker who has poured hours into research, but is also a lazy biker, doesn't want to put any effort into shifting. The origin story is a squid egglet who never developed an ability to shift a manual and has always driven a car. They are scared of manuals. Surely there is a bike that is out there better than an auto Blippermatic 2000 that lets me have an automatic bike, states the wannabe biker. Oh wait, here's a list of automatic bikes? They constantly brag about their auto magic bike and the ability to take off from a line faster than anyone else because they have the best computer owner. Proclaiming always at GAT because they are just afraid to ride without even lacking one piece of equipment. They are always demanding that yes, they are indeed an actual biker, and no, their bike is not a scooter, it is a scooter. Always pushes their model as best while always wanting to upgrade because it's not enough for them. Last but not least, they are always seeking validation, so much so that they become the anti-validation seeker, just seeking to have someone say their bike's automatic transmission style just one more time, even if it's to full Nelson it. Well, I guess I'll be a slave to insert brand here that offers CVT/DCT models and hope that they offer something new that I like. I think if you've chosen the journey of being an automatic motorcycle rider, nothing wrong with it, but it's a small world. It's a very small world.
Yep.
And that MV Agusta we've got technically falls in that world, but it's not automatic because it doesn't shift for you. You have to still select the gears.
Yeah. But you don't need to use a clutch.
Don't need to use a clutch.
It's a very strange contraption, and it took us 30 minutes of staring at it to figure it out.
Just like, huh? But the DCT will shift on its own as an automatic. God, that's weird. I think that would be very strange for me to just feel the bike shifting and not me shifting it. I don't think I like that.
No.
At least scooters, it's just like a one big kind of blended thing of power because it's a CVT, right? Or a continuous drive transmission. So, yeah,
that's no,
definitely a type of rider.
He can just stay there by himself and try to proclaim from the top of the mountain that DCT, CVT is the way. It's not.
It's not. I'm sorry.
Okay, so for Hartman Foscari here, creativity.
Definitely not a rider we've talked about before, and definitely not one that I've thought about much. So I think at least a 6. What do you think?
Yeah. And funniness.
I think also a 6, somewhere in that ballpark.
That is a 12.
So it looks like Hack Jockey is first place.
But I believe he won last week or the week before. I'm pretty sure he's on cooldown.
All right, we'll keep him there tentative.
Yeah, first, but I think he's on cooldown, which means that second place goes to Breadneck.
And then third is a runoff between a Purple Liger and Vince
82. So Vince 82 had this one, the Know-It-All. So one that we had done, but written pretty darn well. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And then a Purple Liger here with the guy who bought the wrong bike.
I think Vince was definitely our guy there.
Yep.
I think he's third place.
That is third.
Let me put that to Liger.
Oops. Fourth. Third.
There.
There we go. I do not believe anybody else is on cooldown. So I think we're good.
I think that's our podium right there. Folks, thanks again for tuning into the Yamcast. Remember, if you want to join on the meme contest, call us in, have fun, join our Discord, go to yammynoob.co. It is the best way to support what we do here, and it's a great way to get entered to win some free giveaway bikes as well. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later. Keep watching Yammy Noob.